Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge of the Brawler Cafe, bringing you your Thursday video. Bakugan Resurgence is now out, and as a result of the listings going up on TCGplayer, we ended up getting all the images for the waves that will be a part of Resurgence. Like, during the time that Resurgence is in stores, these are the waves that are going to be hitting stores. So that's Wave 4, Wave 5, and Wave 6. And there's a lot of notable character cards in here. Some Bakugan that you might want to pick up before we even see their Evos, because they're just that good. So we're going to go over the notable stuff and talk about like general stuff about what this means for the game going forward. Notable Bakugan. Aquos Cloptor Ultra, 602, Double Fist. This is pretty solid. It only reaches about 750, but this is a good fist option, though it's kind of outclassed by another one we'll be talking about in a bit. Since this is the only Cloptor Ultra we see here, I imagine this is probably going to be around Wave 6 that it hits, similar to like how in Battle Brawlers we only had one Dragonoid Ultra character card because it hit in Wave 3, and thus we only got one version of Dragonoid Ultra before Bakugan Resurgence. Another very notable Bakugan is Kubo Aquos. This is the only good Kubo. Memed up a lot, but most of them are really trash. Like, most of them have like 300B or lower base. But this one makes up for it. So this Bakugan is kind of ridiculous. It's Magic Shield and Flaming Fist, 105, and when it's on a Magic Shield or Flaming Fist, it gets plus 600B. So it goes up to 700B. This is the sort of Bakugan that would have been really weak to core removal, but thanks to rerolls, core removal just isn't a factor anymore. Especially when this is an Aquos Bakugan, which means it's going to be very easy for it to get around that. So this is a very natural slot into Chaos Titan Nilius builds, because Aquos is a really good faction for them, because they like the reroll access, they like Aquos' cards in general, and they finally have access to a good Aquos Bakugan. And 700B base effectively, while going on a Magic Shield, gets you up to 1300B after your core bonus, which is utterly ridiculous. 1350. Utterly ridiculous. That's the numbers that that Aurelus Garganoid Ultra is hitting. So obviously that is very, very strong. Aquos Fangzor Ultra. I just want to touch on this one briefly because VK mentioned a while ago on Discord that this is like the card that the designers consider the strongest, and I have a really hard time seeing it because let me tell you, folks, there's a large increase in Bakugan that are 600B or higher. A lot of high B power Bakugan are revealed now, and this isn't hit until Wave 5, and we're not going to have its Evo, which is kind of going to need to function until the next set 3, which will likely also have action cards for Aurelus and stuff like that. So this is I don't really understand why the devs think this is one of the strongest cards. Yeah, sure, Victor draw 2 cards is great and all, but 200B and Fist Core on top of that is really hard to work with. The other problem with it, of course, is that its Evo needs to be super stupid good to just outclass Aquos Fangzor Core, because that thing's 600B base form and gives you a guaranteed draw 3 on Evo instead of needing to win a battle to get you draws. Like, that's just way more useful. So yeah, I have a really hard time seeing Aquos Fangzor Ultra, even with Evo, being anything notable. Aquos Hydronoid Ultra. So if you're a Hydronoid fan, you're in for a treat because the Hydronoid character cards are some of the best in here. This basically completely outclasses Aquos Grukelios Ultra, even including Aquos Grukelios Ultra's Evo. This is one of the things that you're going to want to pick up as soon as it comes out because it's just that good. This is going to instantly go into Fist decks because it's 700B, Double Fist, and it gets plus 200B on a Fist. So it goes up to 900B. Hyper Grukelios Ultra, that 2-cost Evo of Grukelios, goes up to 1000B on a Fist. So like, this is only 100B below in base form. It's ludicrously powerful. And even if core removal would still be a thing, it would still be very strong because, hey, 700B. So like, this is matching the power level of Aurelus Pegatrix's base form. It's stronger than Chaos Pegatrix. It's just ludicrously strong. Really, really good. Aquos Peruvian Ultra. So you're going to notice as we go through this, there are now a total of 3 Bakugan with double Magic Shield, and there are also 3 Bakugan with double Flaming Fist. Of the double Magic Shield Bakugan, this is the most notable one because it has a pretty decent 400B. That's still pretty low. However, when it's providing magic shield, that's basically as high as we can probably expect. So that's pretty good value on this Bakugan. Plus, it's Aquos, which is a good faction. So this is something to keep your eye on, especially if it gets a good Evo in the next set. Aquos Eternium Ultra. This is a solid Bakugan for Helix. Helix seems to finally be coming together with these Wave 4, 5, and 6 character cards. So this does not have double Helix, unfortunately, but it does have a natural reroll ability. It has 502 and goes up to 605 wins on a Helix. And taking into account the strongest Helix, which is plus 600 B, minus 3 damage, that ends up going up to 1200 B with 2 damage. So that is really, really good. And that's it for Aquos. Moving into Aurelus. Yes, okay, so this is one of the really, really ridiculous ones. Aurelus Hydronoid Ultra. Double Flaming Fist, 202, gets plus 1000 B on Flaming Fist. So it goes all the way up to 1200 B, including the Flaming Fist bonus. That's going to be 1450 B. This is now the strongest natural Bakugan in the game. And I've already been drafting like a Flaming Fist Good Stuff stack with Pyrus Serpentines, because that when opening on a Flaming Fist deal 5 damage is really, really strong. Pair that with a bunch of rerolls from Pyrus and Aquos, and you end up with a really strong deck. And then you get this guy providing double Flaming Fist that hits 1450, which is like ludicrously difficult to stand up to on turn 1 or something like that. Aurelus Ultra also got a good base form, which is really great because his Evo is pretty interesting. It's Magic Shield and Fist, 602, and you can reroll it once per turn. Pretty solid stuff. Magic Shield with 600B and reroll effect is just solid stuff. Definitely worth considering, though I'm having trouble really thinking of a deck to really fit it into. Phaedrus Ultra is kind of notable because it's base 700B, but this is basically just worse version of Pegatrix, so not really notable. Trino is similar for shields. It goes up to 705, then 1005, accounting for the shield bonus. But Aurelus Fangzor is already hitting 1000, what is it, 9? 7? Something like that? Like, just better stats. The Trinos in general are really, really bad. They're all like 300B base, and like Aurelus Trino is the only one that has a good core bonus to help make up for that. Aurelus Trox, we're going to be talking about this more in a future video, but it got completely busted Evo. Its base form is 305, and when you play an action on it, plus 100B, plus 2 damage, it's going to be really good. Pick this up if you see it. Okay, Darkus next. Darkus Dragonoid Ultra is kind of notable. It goes up to 605 on a fist, accounting for the fist bonus. That's going to be like 758. But there are better fist stuff like Hydronoid and the Pegatrixes, and there's another Darkus option that basically completely outclasses this that we'll get into later. We also know it's Evo already, and we know that its Evo caps its B power out at about 900 base before the core bonus 1050. Like that's not good. That's not what you want out of your Evo. Like the Evos we currently have are like Aurelus Pegatrix, which is 1600, goes up to 1750 with the core bonus. Chaos Pegatrix, which is like 1650 after your core power. 1050 after playing a 2-cost evolution is really, really bad. So that makes Darkus Dragonoid Ultra just go straight in the trash. Hydronoid Ultra and Darkus is double Helix, so that's pretty rad. 503. Aurelus Ultra and Darkus is also double Helix, 601, and it gets a plus 200B bonus on Helix, so it goes up to Hydro's Ultra stats. It has potential to get a good Evo, and with a plus 300B plus 3 damage Helix core, that goes up to 1104. Very good stat line. Darkus Lupithion Ultra is something I'm keeping my eye on because 505, Victor, all players must discard a card, so you force your opponent to drop a card and then you drop like a Shadow Coil or China Riot out of your hand and increase the damage of Lupithion Ultra's attack. And he already has a very solid stat line of 505. Darkus Scorpos Ultra, this is the better fist Bakugan for Darkus I was talking about. This is 701 with double fist. Very, very good. Very high stat line. Nobilius Ultra in Chaos, double fist, 601, and you can attach a fist to this Bakugan when you get a Victor with it. This is a fairly interesting Bakugan. Gonna have to see what his Evo does, but for the time being, nothing too notable. Pandux Ultra, this is utterly ridiculous. Double shield, 702. Like, just base 700B with shields. Chaos Serpentine Ultra is rolling in its grave right now. This Bakugan is stupid strong. Definitely something you'd want to instantly pick up. Chaos Atronium, this is one of our other double Flaming Fist Bakugan. It has 205, but when it's on a Flaming Fist, it goes up to 800. With the Flaming Fist bonus, that becomes 1050. This is more dependent on getting a good Evo than Aurelus Hydronoid Ultra, but this is still very, very notable, something to keep your eye on. Of course, this might not make the cut for Flaming Fist good stuffs because Hydronoid is so good, and to maximize the value of that deck, you want to maximize how many times you're getting to open Hyper Serpentines on a Flaming Fist, and you need a bunch of rerolls for that, and Chaos is not good at rerolls. It does not have very strong reroll cards. They're pretty expensive most of the time. Another Magic Shield Bakugan in Chaos, double Magic Shield, Vice Rocks, 305, not very notable in my opinion, because what you want to be using Magic Shields for is to power up Chaos Titan Nilius. This Bakugan even has that low 300B that you don't really want. Overall, it doesn't really fit what the deck wants. Artulion Ultra, this is a bit notable since it is our first Artulion. This is probably dropping in Wave 6, similar to the Coptor Ultra. Magic Shield and Fist, 402, not very good stat line. Hopefully we see better from Artulion in the future. Pyrus Hydronoid Ultra, Shield Fist 601, and if you're in Fury it gets plus 9 damage, so it goes up to 10, which is pretty potent. Something to keep your eye on, and it has that good 600B base as well. The Pyrus Niliuses, these are fairly interesting. So Pyrus Nilius Core is Shield and Fist 103 and has natural double strike. That's okay, very low B power, can't really work with that. However, Pyrus Nilius Ultra is a double Helix Bakugan with 203, and when it stands on a Helix, it gets plus 200B and plus double strike. So as you may know, Nilius Ultra is very, very consistent at grabbing multiple cores. So if you're using this in a Helix deck, like a full Helix deck, say you roll it out, it grabs 2 Helixes, say those are 2 plus 300B plus 3 damage. So this goes up to 1000B with 9 damage, or let's do that with 2 plus 500B minus 1 damage cores. So this goes up to 1400B and 1 damage. So as you can see, you can do some pretty ridiculous things with this. Getting natural double strike is really, really powerful because you can just apply that to the team attack and just do ridiculous things. So yeah, Pyrus Nilius Ultra, something to really keep your eye on, especially if you're interested in building a Helix deck. Pyrus Nobilius Ultra, this will basically be completely replacing Pyrus Draconoid Ultra in Chaos Titan Nilius decks. It's Magic Shield and Flaming Fist, same core types as Drago. It's 502, so it loses 3 damage. However, when it stands on a Magic Shield or Flaming Fist, it goes up plus 200B. So it's 702, very similar to Kubo, just with lower damage rating. And with a Magic Shield, that's going to be like hitting like 1350. With a Flaming Fist, that's going to be hitting about 950 with higher damage. Either way, you're getting very, very good numbers while retaining the Pyrus faction element that you want. Yeah, the last double Flaming Fist nerd is Pyrus Phaedrus, 305. Nothing too notable. We want Flaming Fists for abusing Pyrus Serpentines, so that's not very good. And speaking of Pyrus Serpentines, let's just talk about him real quick. He's right here. Pyrus Serpentines, Flaming Fist, 601, good stat lines. And then we have Pyrus Vice Rocks. This is another super notable Bakugan that you want to keep your eye on. It's Fist and Helix Core, 205, and if you're in Fury, it goes up to 1000B. Since it also carries Helix, you could roll it onto a Helix core, say it's a plus 600B, minus 3 damage Helix core. So that goes up to a monstrous 1600B and 2 damage. You can even roll it onto a weaker Helix core, plus 500B, minus 1 damage, and you're going up to 1500B, which is still beating out Aurelus Hydronoid Ultra. So this Bakugan is super, super strong. Definitely something to keep your eye on for big aggro decks. Even has decent damage to make it quite notable for use with Might of Cindius and Mac. So very, very strong Bakugan. If it gets a good Evo, I could even see it kicking out Pyrus Serpentine Ultra, because like having this strong of a base form is very, very notable. And also, like with good cores, I want to talk about Pyrus Vice Rocks Ultra as well, because this has Magic Shield and Helix, which I've noted before is like one of the best core lineups you can get, because those are both very high B power boosting core types. And it has 505 as well, so that's a very good stat line. And lastly, Ventus. Ventus Cindius kind of sucks. Damage boost on a 200B Magic Shield Bakugan, with your Magic Shield bonus being more damage rating. Like, that's kind of really bad. Ventus Hydronoid Ultra gives a Shield Bakugan to Ventus, 601 double shield. That's pretty solid. Hope it turns out better than their Fist, because going into Bakugan Resurgence, we had Ventus Krikelios Ultra and Ventus Serpentes, both of which were 600B base with double Fist, so there was big hopes for them, but then they just got really garbage Evos. So hopefully the same doesn't happen here. Ventus really needs to pick me up. Phaedrus, Ventus, 305, Flaming Fist, and Helix. Flaming Fist plus 300B, so it goes up to 600, becomes 850 with the Flaming Fist bonus. Not anything like super notable, to be honest. Yeah. Oh yes, and Ventus Vice Rocks Ultra. This is a double Helix Bakugan, very notable for Helix-based decks. So this is 502. When it's on the Helix, it gets plus 200B, plus 2 damage. So that's going up to 704. Then if you account for the Helix it's standing on, that can be either plus 600B, minus 3 damage, which would put it to 1300 and 1 damage, or the plus 500B, minus 1 damage, which would put it to 1200B and 3 damage, or plus 300B and plus 3 damage, which would put it to 1000B and 8 damage. All of these very, very good values to be having. So yeah, that's basically a shoe-in for that build. And that's really it. I do want to briefly touch on Aquos, Phaedrus, and Ventus Vice Rocks. These Bakugan aren't super notable, but despite being Bakugan Resurgence Bakugan, they have this special symbol here. So I think that these are going to be like promo Bakugan. Like some sort of promotional thing that they're going to be distributed in, maybe some sort of event. Who knows? I guess it would have to be like an Anime Expo or some sort of GameStop event, something like that to be happening within this time frame. But they come at the very end of the set list, and they have a different symbol than the rest of the Bakugan Resurgence stuff. So I just thought I would bring that up briefly. They're not very good Bakugan. Phaedrus hits 508 on a Fist, accounting for the Fist core, that goes up to 650. And Vice Rocks is the better one. It's double shield, 602, gets plus 3 damage rating on a shield. Whether this or Hydronoid is better as a shield Ventus Bakugan, it's completely dependent on what Evos they get. But regardless, that's it. This video has gone on for close to 20 minutes. I think I covered every notable thing that I really wanted to. Now, I've been worried going forward because like this is just like 6-7 months in, and we already have major power creep here. Like, I'm sure you noticed that there's a huge amount of new Bakugan that are hitting 600B, 700B, even 800B now. Lots of stuff hitting those numbers. But like the biggest thing to illustrate this is, so in set 1, in Battle Brawlers, the highest any base form got was Aurelus Garganoid Ultra on a Flaming Fist that would hit 1350B. In Bakugan Resurgence, now that's an Aurelus, of course, which means it's not a real faction, which means it's not really providing cards to your deck. So, yeah, you expect it to have the highest B power. In here, we have 4 Bakugan that hit that number or higher. We have Aquos Kubo and Pyrus Nobilius, both non-Aurelus factions, both normal factions. These are some of the strongest factions in the game right now, in fact, and they're hitting 1350 very easily on the Magic Shield, and they go into one of the strongest decks in the game, Hail Saturnilius. Then we have Aurelus Hydronoid Ultra, who goes even higher than the 1350, hitting 1450, doing that more consistently than Garganoid can because the Flaming Fist, and the core removal is completely irrelevant now because of the reroll cards. And then we have Mr. Pyrus Vicerox over here with his Infury ability to hit 1600B. I'm really shocked they gave this thing a Helix core because it already becomes so strong in Fury as is and has a good damage rating for using Might and Mac. So I don't know why they gave it that. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. Because VK said we're not going to power creep. Now, like, obviously, like, we're just really pushing Hydronoid because, like, that has a lot of nostalgia behind it. And I'm not terribly worried because I'm not completely opposed to power creep. I think power creep can be used very, very well at some times. But doing it so much so early makes me uneasy. We'll see how things go going forward, but it makes me a bit uneasy to see this much power creep already. And also with the knowledge that Aurelus actions are probably coming next set because we were told that Aurelus actions are coming by end of the year at the premiere event, and next set is the last set of the year. So if they're coming this year, they have to be in the next set. What else? For Bakugan that you want to pick up before we know their Evos, that would be stuff like Pyrus. Basically everything that's hitting that 1350 or higher. Pyrus Nobilius, Aquos, Kubo, Aurelus Hydronoid Ultra, and Pyrus Vicerox. And I'd also put Aquos Hydronoid Ultra in this category as well. Basically, all the Hydronoid Ultras are good. Like, every single one of those is a good Bakugan with lots and lots of potential. Otherwise, if they don't have their Evo yet, wait on seeing what their Evo is. And if we do have their Evo, if they're any good, we will talk about them. So, with that said, this is going to be Hunter Surge, signing off.